Hi, yeah, we're thrilled to be here. It's absolutely lovely to see so many writers in the room. I feel very, very at home here. And as Andy said, we are working content marketing. Over the last decade, we've worked on hundreds of content marketing projects. We've written 2 books on content marketing. We teach courses on content marketing. The name of our business is Valuable Content. We're all over the content marketing. Our biggest name dropping in content marketing terms is that last year Google rang us up and asked us to help them write some better content. People weren't finding their content on the internet for some reason. And so over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to share some of our content marketing secrets with you. Maybe one of the biggest one of which is we don't actually love content marketing, or maybe we don't love what content marketing has become. It's become a bit of a big, bloated, buzzwordy industry, and that doesn't really excite us. It leaves us a bit cold. But what we still love, what we really, really love, is what brilliantly worded content can do for a business. At its simplest, content marketing is a way for you to connect with your ideal client and develop a relationship with them until the time is right to buy. Content marketing can do lots in terms of awareness, trust building, customer service, but what it does best of all is it has the power to get your ideal client to say, I've done my research and it's you I want to work with. And as a writer, I'm excited by the fact that it's words that could make that happen. There's a very real sense of kind of write it and they will come. When you share your knowledge generously in really well-written blogs, guides, videos, tweets, whatever, the right people will find you. So at its heart, content marketing is simple and it's wordy and it's wonderful. But of course, there's a process around it, a big process, and that's what we're going to take you through this morning. We want to show you how we see the content marketing process working best and some of the places we see where people have a few problems. And we want to also point out some of the ways that we see that there's more jobs for writers in content marketing than you might think of straight off.
Thanks. But first of all, we wanted to take you to the pub, if that's okay with you. This is our pub school. And what we've noticed over the years with all these projects is that, as Sharon said, there's a process that it takes to get your content right. The stages that you need to go through. And we work with many business owners, many small business owners, and you will have noticed as well, they don't exactly love marketing, a lot of them, do they? They love what they do, they're experts in what they do, but marketing, not so much. So, we have to make them think differently, and we have to make them sort of relax and think differently about what marketing could be, and what better place than our absolutely gorgeous local pub, which just happens to be between my house and Sharon's house in Bristol. It's called The Lion, if anybody wants to come to Bristol, it's beautiful. And the process that we go through, with our small business owners, groups of small business owner pub, is exactly the same as the process we went through with Google. It starts with looking at your goals. Why are you doing this in the first place? What's the point? What's the purpose of it? Who are your customers and what do they really want? What really excite them? And more than anything else, who are you as a business? I love the Ben & Jerry's talk. You really know your values and your purpose and everything else, and that's got to come across too. And what's your sweet spot? What is it that you can uniquely write about as a business that's going to fire up you and your customers? And what's the plan? So that's the process that we take them through. And we're going to show you a bit more about that today. But it's exactly the same as Google. And we're a bit of an interesting, you called us an agency, Andy, but there is only 2, it doesn't matter, there's only 2 of us. It's just me and Sharon, and we come from very different backgrounds. It was maybe obvious, but I come from a sales background, so I'm dressed as if I'm going to a sales pitch today. So I've started off in sales, and I worked in consultancy as a business development manager, and I've come through into content through that way. Sharon, as she looks like something out of Mad Men and is wearing a pair of sneakers, she comes from copywriting world. And we've got this really interesting combination of skills that come to play in these projects. We wanted to show you a bit about how the interplay between those two today as well.
Yeah. This is interesting because you've mentioned before about the importance of having fun with what you're doing and being in creative thinking in as part of copywriting. And this is sort of something that we came up with in the office, really, for a bit of a joke. We were just making each other laugh. We've been working in content marketing a long time, and we've worked on loads of projects, and we've seen where people go wrong, we've seen where people get frustrated. And we were just kind of joking around going, what if content marketing was a real place? What if there really was a land of content? What would it look like? What would the places be like that where people went to? And we were, at that time, we had an amazing designer, Lizzie Everard, working in our office. And I kind of sketched it out in my rubbishy way, and she made it look beautiful. So I just wanted to kind of talk you through here and maybe think about while we're doing it, if there's anything that resonates with you or maybe client projects that you're working on. So this is the land of content, and most people, everybody lands in the land of content up here on the left-hand side, the place that we've called the Veil of Good Intentions. This is kind of, we're going to do content marketing, we're going to win loads of business, it's going to be really easy. It's just, this is kind of my shortcut to kind of a super successful client attraction process. And everybody's heading down here over to where Sonja is, which is Bountiful Bay. And Bountiful Bay is content marketing nirvana. This is where all these leads are coming in, your content's out there working 24/7, or people know they want to work with you, all the leads are pre-qualified, your content's out there working, you just lie on the beach sipping pina coladas, and that is it. So people start here, we're going to do content marketing, and that's where they're heading. But there's quite a few hiccups on the way. The first one that people slip up on is the port of quick wins. This is when you think, we're going to do content marketing. Yeah, content marketing, we're going to do it. God, this is really hard work. I've actually got to write stuff. There must be another way. I know, as everyone talks about SEO, we'll just pay somebody and then we'll kind of game things and we'll get to the top. And people, I mean, obviously there's good SEO companies, and there might be some good SEO companies here, but there's also kind of dodgy cowboy SEO companies, and we come across them every so often, and people can waste loads of money. There was an accountant's firm, not a big accountant's firm, that came to us that was spending $4,000 a month on SEO, and they were like to stay at the page 2 of their accountancy
in their area.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
just write good content that your clients want to read, and don't waste money doing that. And also there's kind of cheap factory farm content. You'll know as writers, there's always somebody who will offer to write blogs cheaper than you, just kind of buy a load of blogs for basically nothing. And it won't do anything for your business. It's a complete waste of money. There's no value in crap words at all. And in fact, we've invented, there's a riptide that takes you from the Port of Quick Wins round to Shit Creek in the middle, where you've just got you've got no money, you've got no reputation, you might as well not have even started. So that's one place where you can end up. Did you want to talk about the marshes of the ill prepared next?
And so this is another one that we've noticed over the years. The marshes of the ill prepared is a place where your system, your platform's not working properly. You know, you can create the best content in the world, but if your website is shit, you know, there's absolutely no way that that's going to work for your business. So, you know, what we've seen is, you know, websites where, you know, there may be well-written content, but the blog looks terrible and nobody's going to stick around. That's your home base, really, isn't it, on your website? Nobody's going to stay there. Or there's bits of the system that are missing. You know, you get people to the website and the product descriptions are a bit rubbish, and it's not going to actually get you any sales. Or, you know, the email sign-up is missing. That's a big one, you know. So you've got attractive people to your website, but, you know, how are you going to keep in contact with them? They can't find that. They can't share anything. They can't keep contact with you. So, you know, the marshes of the ill prepared is the platform bit. You've got to get that right as well. And the other bit, which is really common, and you will probably recognise this from some of your clients, is what we've called foggy bottom. And that's where, you know, people have all these good intentions to get their content working, and they're like, right, we've got to have a blog, and we're going to go do all this stuff, and they suddenly realise that they actually have no idea what to say. So, you know, the intentions are right, the website's fantastic, but they have nothing unique to say to the world. And you'll see this with lots of agency blogs that we've seen in the past. They just become a ghost town. They quickly sort of fizzle out, you know, and there's nothing on there. It's this tumbleweed all over the website and stuff as well. So we first... Andy came to our Bristol content group. We tried this map out at one of the content groups, and we had said to people, you know, where are you on the content map at the moment, the Lands of Content map? And some of them went into the middle of the room and they got a saucer and they put it on the floor and they said, well, we're here, we're sort of shuttling between Foggy Bottom, the Port of Quick Winds and the Marshes of the Ill Prepared. And this is the roundabout of despair, you know, that's how we feel, you know, so we put that in as well. But there's a couple of other ones we've noticed, you know, Lonely Crag, again, some of you might recognise this, you know, they often, you know, when people decide to go about marketing this way, they're the one person in the business, you know, who's been loaded with all this stuff. You know, as writers, you may be sort of the lonely person writing all of these blogs. You've not got the backing of the leadership team, and it's a really hard slog. And to make this work, it's a team effort. You know, in a business, you have to draw this expertise from everybody in the business. And imagine if you could get them all contributing with your help as writers as well. And imagine as freelance writers, if you could have a bit of, you know, partnership alongside that. And we try and put freelancers with other freelancers so they can bounce ideas off each other, because it can be a lonely old slog. And the final one that we put up there is the too quick, too soon peak, which is where, you know, you start off with so many good intentions that, you know, you reckon you're going to write, you know, 4 blogs a week, produce 3 video series, you know, in a month, and it just, you know, blows your head and you just give up because you've got to start realistically. Our question to you by the end of this is, as copywriters, can you think of any other places that we've missed? So I look forward to hearing that. But those are some of the stumbling blocks which you may be familiar with. There's 2 paths to success that we've noticed. One we've called grafter's gorge. Now this is the hard way. This is the way where you get that content, you struggle through it, and you may fail, some bits may connect and some not. And it can take, you can get there, you can get to Nirvana, to Bountiful Bay, but it takes an awfully long time. Now there is a quicker route that we've noticed through the years, and we've called that Wisdom Way. And the first port of call on Wisdom Way is a destination called Powwow Plain. Now this is where you stop and you slow down and you start thinking about your content strategy. Why are you doing this? All of those things we go through with people in pub school, we take them through in this stage. And we're going to show you the process right now in 3 acts. We've come up with content marketing, the play, in 3 acts, and we're going to show you that now, so you'll be able to get yours and your clients' content absolutely sorted once you've listened to this.
Okay.
Oh, that's the content strategy.
So this is the Powwow Plain is where you sort out your content strategy.
Okay. Act 1?
Act 1, yeah. Let's go for Act 1.
Okay,
so Act 1 is all about exploration. I should have my pith helmet on. This is a kind of a big exploring journey. This is where you're going to uncover your vision and purpose. You're going to articulate your message in words that will resonate with your audience. You're going to find out what that thing you've got to say that your customers and clients actually want to hear. There's a really good quote that I can't remember who said it, but kind of, without strategy, content is just stuff, and the world has got enough stuff. So if you kind of work out what you're saying and why you're saying it, you'll stop. You won't avoid kind of adding to just stuff. So to make content marketing work, you've got to know what your sweet spot is. And that's probably the kind of one of the really big places we think people slip up in content marketing. So they don't bother to work out what this kind of unique thing that they can talk about that's going to help their business is before they start just creating content. They spend time and money creating the wrong kind of content, and it's wrong because it doesn't do a job, because content marketing isn't just about creating fantastic content and sharing it on the web. It's about creating fantastic content that has serious work to do, and that work is attracting the right customers, the right leads towards your business, and helping you develop valuable relationships. So you've got to work out what that work is you want the content to do to start with. So how do you find your content sweet spot? So you've got to know your business and its aims really well to start with, and you've got to know about your customers, and that's what the first act is all about.
Yeah, so we start with looking at goals, you know, and this is what you can do too. You know, why is it you want to produce this stuff in the first place? Really, really, really why? And people sometimes, you know, rush over that bit, but that's the most important thing. You know, we worked with Bristol University for a while, and you know, their goal was really narrow with their content. You know, it was for the international office, and all they wanted to do, not recruit people into not, you know, attract students. People know about them anyway. It was just between that conditional offer and start date. How could they use content to give people all the information they needed on their visa process and get them to a happy start? It's really small and narrow. We're looking at that frame, you know, what is the goal for the content in the first place, and get that really specific. And then we go on a bit of a quest, and that's around, this is the best fun bit of the whole process. And it means talking to real and listening to real customers. So, we will never go on that content process with a company without actually talking to real people. So, we phone them up. We've worked for a management consultancy company, and we phoned up the heads of John Lewis, and asked them about the challenge of change that our company, our client were dealing with. And you hear the words, you hear the story, from their perspective, and you get ideas for the content because they're telling you about the problems that they're facing in their job, and it's a whole different frame on the content that you can create afterwards. And this is, we get people to do this when they come to the pub school as well, don't we? And get them to go off on their own quest and ask these questions. And then we look at their own business. What do they stand for? Who are they? And it's so. This is where I think when you're involved in this, it's so interesting because it's a combination of brand strategy really and the content thinking, and the two are completely interlinked. And this is what makes it so fascinating. And there's a real role here, Sharon, isn't there, for writers, from what you do as a copywriter?
Yeah, I think that there's lots of things that writers are really good at, which are really needed in this phase. There's a need for kind of strategic skills and journalistic skills and asking the right questions and listening and teasing the stories out of people. And it's the kind of words which you're writing, which are hugely powerful, but they might not ever see the light of day outside of a business. You're not writing web copy or sales copy or brochure copy, but you're helping a business write its own story and learn how to talk about itself. And that's, we find work that way, but I think there's probably other people could.
Yeah. So it's not just thinking, the copywriting stage is just I have to produce a blog article or a newsletter, or it's, good writing means good thinking, doesn't it? And your skills here, you are strategists in a lot of ways. The questions you ask of a business to be able to write are exactly the same questions as we ask through this process, through the content strategy. So it's a fascinating job, and the writing part of it is huge, to be able to get people to be able to see their business in a different way. So this is the job, this is the content strategy job. It involves real hard thinking, definitely some listening. And once you've done that, then you can put together the plan, the marketing plan, looking at which channels you're going to use. So you come out of this exploration phase, pith helmets you can take off, with a really firm idea of who you are as a business, what your customers need, the sweet spot, and how you're going to take the message out there. That's the marketing side, right? So that's act one, and then you put on a different hat.
Yeah, now it's construction helmet time. This is kind of, was it Village People? I would have Village People on now. So this is all about getting the platform built. Really, there's lots of moving parts. If content marketing is going to work for you, there's various things that you need in place. So you need a really good website platform. You need a newsletter or some way of keeping in touch with people. You need to be active on social media so that all these blogs you write don't just live on your website, but you get them out there and get people back. And if you're a big organisation, you need to kind of train other people to start creating content and being able to play their part in social media. So there's lots of kind of moving parts and jobs to do. And this can be a hard phase. There's lots of places that kind of people find difficult. People say, "Oh, I'll save money on my website. I'll just get my friend to do it. It'll be good," and that always goes wrong. It's kind of you lose your friendship. The website never happens, and you find you're kind of 6 months behind where you thought you were going to be. There's the place. There's kind of nightmare team news. We have seen lots of those. The graphic designer doesn't get on with the web designer, and everybody who said they were going to get their words to you by next Friday, it's 6 weeks' time, and it's all a big kind of chaotic kind of people problem getting this done.
Well, the tavern of self-doubt, we've called it, which everybody goes, we've done all that thinking and stuff, and this is so difficult, we just give it up, just throw it out.
Because there's just nothing like a web project for really making you kind of think, is this my business? You're writing everything down, these are my services, this is what I offer, is this it? Am I good enough? Is anyone going to want to buy this? And everybody goes through that. The website's just such a tangible expression of your business that people worry about getting them out there. But
you've got your plan.
Yeah, if you've got your plan, if you've done Act 1, you're sure this is our strategy. This is what our customers want. We know how they talk. We know what their challenges are. Just go for it. Get out of the self-doubt tavern and get moving.
There's a big place for writers here, as you'll know. That's obvious, isn't it? You know, that's, you've got, on a website, you've got the sales copy. That's hugely important, but you've also got this, what we call valuable content, you know, the blogs and the guides and everything else as well. And it's getting that balance between the two, you know, that's so important. So there's a massive job to do there. But this is not the end. We've got Act 3, so you can take off your construction hats now, and we get to the more interesting bit. Act 3 is basically party time. You've got the content strategy straight, you've got the platform built, and now it's time to get that content out there in all its glorious formats, and more importantly than anything else, to keep it coming. This is not a party with an end. This is a non-stop festival for your customers, and you've got to keep serving up the goods. And that has some, I mean, as writers, you have such a role to play here, and we're seeing, you know, we're kind of the catalyst. We're not an agency that, you know, creates content for people forever. We're trying to get their thinking sorted. And we're recommending to our clients that they take on, you know, either an outsourced or an internal copywriter, you know, who's there as their storyteller forever and a day. Because, you know, some of our clients will learn to write. You know, we've had some amazing, very surprising successes, you know, for people who become great writers, having been a food technologist or something like that, you know. But a lot of them will need your help, you know, to be able to get their expertise out there. And it's in a way, it's sort of letting go. It's a different kind of job. Your job is to make them look, their ideas, to draw them out and make them look amazing, you know. But it's very much a partnership role, isn't it? You know, this lonely crag thing where you're just told to go off and write the blogs. I don't believe in that. You know, you've got to work with people to get their ideas out, and it's such a fascinating role. And I think watch this space, because I think more and more companies are going to be taking on these people. We're certainly recommending that, you know, the writing takes central stage for a business in terms of, you know, the way that they're continuously communicating with people. So the party has started, the party hat is on, and the content is coming out in a way that's meaningful to the business, and it's meaningful to the customers as well. And that's how you're going to get it right. Back to the map.
Yeah, so how do you make content marketing work? It's not just a matter of more content. There's too much purposeless content. I'm sure we all agree on that, and that doesn't deliver value. If you're going to make it work, we say step back and slow down. Explore, think hard, and work on your strategy. Get the platform in really tip-top condition, and then get the party started. There's loads of work to be done, and good writers have never been needed more. Not just in the later acts where you might think that they're needed, but up front too, at the crucial thinking stage. Good writing is good thinking. And so I think our message would be kind of step up and take a more strategic role. And just like dogs are not just for Christmas, writers are not just for web copy and sales campaigns. Good writers can help businesses think and act differently, and that's really powerful stuff.
Thank you very much.